Hello and welcome to this presentation called The Shame Monster. So, this presentation is all about helping to discover where shame may be sabotaging your life. Um, just a little bit about me before I start. My name's Emily, and I used to live a life filled with toxic shame. Um, I found myself repeating childhood patterns in my relationships and just perpetually never feeling good enough. And after divorcing and going through therapy, I decided to seek out some other healing modalities that kind of went with what I was learning in therapy. My goal is to help other women break free from patterns that hold them back and help them step into their authentic power so they can rediscover that joy. Because the joy that you felt as a kid when you were doing all those fun things, even if you don't remember it because maybe you had a tough childhood like I did, you can actually uncover that and live a joyful life and be present. So let's talk about shame and what it is. And then at the end of the presentation, I'm going to give us 3 different things that we can do to work with our shame. So shame and guilt. Now, both of these things are negative emotions, but they are different. So sometimes people think that shame and guilt are the same. However, if we look at guilt, when we feel guilt, it's around an action that we've done. It's around something that we did or didn't do that we feel bad about that action. Now, shame, on the other hand, is a focus on yourself. So that idea that you are broken, bad, not worthy, etc., that is shame. And shame can actually be hidden because when we're growing up, if we grow up with somebody who's always criticizing us, we may begin to kind of soak that in and make that our own voice about ourselves. And we can think it's perfectly normal because that's what we heard growing up. Like the adults know best, right? I'm actually learning as an adult that that is not true at all. All right. So, toxic shame. Now, listen, everybody experiences some shame in their lives. Um, we do little things that, maybe we drop something at the wrong time or, someone lets out a fart in a bad moment, right? You're going to feel a little bit embarrassed about it. However, shame becomes bad when we start to believe that we are chronically flawed. So when we believe that there is just something wrong with us, that we need fixed, and it can range from a variety of issues that affect you when you have this. So low self-esteem, you can have difficulty forming relationships and even some mental health issues. So again, this can come from things like childhood experiences of abuse, neglect, other negative form of treatments, and it can happen in relationships as an adult if you're also experiencing that type of like abuse that makes you believe that you are just worthless. And I know that for a very long time in my life, I just turned 43 like 2 months ago. For about 38 years, I believed that I was not good enough. I didn't deserve good things. I was worthless. I was useless. I had no value. And I just lived my life like that. And I lived in a victim mentality. I was experiencing adverse things, I was experiencing abuse. But I made that idea that I was abused my story in a way that it wasn't empowering. So it wasn't something that I used to do better. It was something that I used to stay where I was. And the comfort of those experiences, due to them being my experience my whole life, is part of the reason why I did that until I started learning about things like toxic shame. Because it's funny, you're like, oh, wait, most people don't just think they're like worthless and useless? Like, oh, that's been my experience my whole life. So let's talk about common causes of shame. We have physical, emotional, or sexual abuse, as well as neglect as a child, can definitely contribute to the development of shame. Emotionally distant caregivers, these are parents who, for whatever reason, are not emotionally available or responsive, and they can create this sense of shame and unworthiness. And unfortunately, it's tough because the child is affected, obviously, but then you also have a parent who has their own things going on, but because you're a child and you're innocent, you can't see that. You can't see that, maybe my mom's not available because she's not being treated for depression due to these experiences that she has had. And as a kid, that's really hard because you just want to be loved. And it's not you, but you definitely will internalize it. Other traumatic experiences, you can get it just from witnessing violence, as well as being bullied. And then finally, it can come from repeated exposure to negative messages about oneself. And this is where I was talking about that idea of this inner critic, this inner idea that there is just like someone in your life who's constantly nitpicking at you and telling you why you're bad. And then eventually you may start to believe them because it's easier, because it's all you hear. And when we're kids, we don't have that discernment. We don't have the ability when we're young to say, oh, my mom or my dad are being critical towards me, but maybe that's because they feel bad about themselves. We can't do that as kids. We're taught, hey, I'm supposed to listen to what my mom and dad say. So if they say I suck, I must really suck. And unfortunately, that leads to toxic shame. It's never the child's fault. Okay, so let's talk about characteristics. Characteristics of feeling, you may feel chronically unworthy. So this is this idea that there is just something wrong with me. I will never be good enough. I am inherently flawed. And nobody's perfect, but there's this just like chronic uselessness that comes with toxic shame. It seems like there's no hope and there's no way out. There is self-loathing. This is when you self-criticize and hate yourself. This is internalized negative messaging. Those, oh, I'm so stupid. I can't believe I did that. All that kind of stuff. Beating yourself up. Negative self-esteem. So this is obviously where we have feelings of inadequacy, hopelessness, and despair. And it can manifest as emotional distress. So this can lead to things like anxiety, depression, and even suicidal thoughts. So there are 4 faces of shame, 4 quadrants. This is by Dr. Donald Nathanson, and these are common behavioral responses to shame. So these are things that you may do unintentionally, not even realizing it, to escape that discomfort of shame. And it can be like a defense mechanism that comes up. So the first one is withdrawing, physically or emotionally withdrawing from the shaming situation. You might do this, any of these things, and not realize that it is actually a response or reaction to feeling shame. The next one is self-attack. So again, these are the messages about yourself and where you're turning this anger inward. You're criticizing yourself. Next is avoidance. Could be come up in a way of addiction, denial, disassociation, numbing, ignoring the problem, and finally putting other people down. So attacking others. So shifting the focus from yourself to other people by criticizing or demeaning them. This is a way to regain power or a sense of control. When we understand how toxic shame manifests, we're able to figure out how to address and begin healing from its destructive ways, because we can look at, okay, this is what I do when I feel shame. So once I notice myself doing this thing, let me come up with some conscious activities that I can do, whether that be deep breathing, repeating positive affirmations, mirror work. Humming is a great way to reset your nervous system. Consequences of toxic shame are that you may have difficulty forming relationships. You could socially isolate or not trust other people and have problems with intimacy. You may also repeat relationships with people who treat you the same way you were treated by maybe the adult parent when you were a child. Because that, even though it is uncomfortable or abusive, it is all you know. That's how I ended up in the relationships I ended up in. All I knew were these experiences where I was put down and made to feel bad about myself. So I thought that was normal. And I got into relationships that cycled that until I was able to go, oh my goodness, I got to stop doing this. Individuals with toxic shame can also struggle with depression, anxiety, substance abuse, procrastination, perfectionism, and again, sometimes even suicidal ideation. And that's like extreme, but it's possible. Extreme, but possible. I know I struggled with that whenever I was a teen. I just felt like I had no purpose because I was getting all of this negative messaging about myself, and I wasn't able to realize that the message that matters is the one that comes from within. And since I didn't get that as a child and in my teenage years, once I learned how important that was, I did the things that I needed to do in order to fill myself up. So let's talk about some shame reducing activities. These are 3 activities that you can do to reduce shame, and hopefully, start to move forward. And I'm going to do a demo of the EFT tapping, and I will do a meditation for inner child in here as well. So let's start with dedicated mirror work. So mirror work is this activity where you grab a mirror, you would look at yourself. I always say start with just being comfortable looking at yourself in the mirror, no judgment. So that's step 1. You want to look at yourself without judgment and just notice yourself. No comments or anything like that. Step 2 for mirror work is to begin adding what if affirmations that line up with rebuilding your self-worth. So, an example of this: what if I am good enough? What if I deserve good things? What if I am lovable? What if I am worthy? So you want to start with what if statements. In my opinion, that's what has worked for me as somebody who went from absolute self-hatred to the other side of just loving myself. Is my brain, when I would just say immediately, I am lovable, my brain was like, no, you're not. No, you're not. You're not lovable. When I added what if in front for a while first, my brain was like, all right, well, maybe. So it kind of helped my brain to be like, it's possible. And then after a while, I was able to take the what if off. And that's kind of like the third step. And my suggestion would be to do this in the mornings, like maybe when you brush your teeth, set a timer for 2 or 3 minutes. You want to work up to 5 to 10 minutes, but start small. Any little bit will help you. Now, I will tell you that sometimes it's hard to look at yourself in the mirror. That is normal. When we grow up or have these feelings of self-loathing and self-hatred, you look at yourself and you might feel disgusted. That's how I was. I had to be like, it took me a while to even be able to look myself in the eyes. But once I got past that, that's when I added on those what if affirmations. And that's then after that, I started to notice, okay, I feel good about this. Let me try it without the what if. And that's when I just started doing it. Now, I still do this. Every time I look at myself in the mirror now, I'm like, girl, you're awesome. I love you. You're beautiful. You're amazing. I know it sounds self centered, but it isn't, because this is the thing. I don't think I'm better than anybody else. I think we're all amazing. But I deserve to feel good about myself, and so do you. So, mirror work is the first one. Now, the second one that you want to do is called EFT tapping. EFT tapping is tapping on specific points of the body. They're different meridian points, and they kind of tell the nervous system to chill out. So, right now, we're going to do a demo, and I will walk you guys through each different point that you're going to do. You're going to use 2 fingers. You don't have to do, I'm trying to get in camera. You don't have to do both sides. You could choose left or right. And I will do the affirmations. All you need to do is tap with me and listen. I will do 3 rounds. Okay, so you'll notice the affirmations start with I acknowledge my shame, and then they kind of shift to I'm allowing myself to release. So just bear with me here. The first point is this karate chop, and then I'll walk you through in case you've never done this before. But EFT tapping is great for a lot of things, not just shame. But we're going to use it for this today. So you don't want to have anything crossed. So make sure you're not sitting cross-legged like I just was. And what you want to do is begin here, and you're just going to tap lightly. Even though I feel shame, I totally love and accept myself. Even though I feel shame, I totally and completely love and accept myself. Even though I have this feeling of shame, I totally and completely love and accept myself. By the way, you don't have to say the affirmations with me, but you can say them if you want. I'm going to move above my eye. I have this shame. Now I'm going to go to the side of my eye. I have this feeling of shame. My nose got itchy. Under the eye, you may sigh. Now under the nose, this feeling of shame. Allow yourself to feel it in your body. It will come up. And then down here on the chin, I have this feeling of shame. And then we're doing this like clavicle point here. And now I'm going to go under the arm. And you want to do about 7 taps, but no one's keeping count. And then the top of the head is the last one. And then we're going to start round 2. All right. Even though I'm back here again, this feeling of shame, I totally love and accept myself. Even though I have this feeling of shame, I totally and completely love and accept myself. Even though I have this feeling of shame, I totally and completely love and accept myself. So then I'm going to go back above here. What if I make peace with my shame? So top of the eye. Now side of the eye. Maybe I can let the shame go. Now I'm going to go under the eye. Maybe I am worthy. Down under the nose. What if I am lovable? What if I've been lovable this whole time? Now my chin. What if I've always been good enough? What if I've always been good enough? Then right here on the clavicle, maybe I can release my shame. Maybe I can let it go. Now under the arm, so it's like under your armpit, and then the top of the head. And then we're going to do one more round. And you can do like 3 to 5, up to 7 rounds at a time. All right, back to the karate chopping point. Even though I have this shame, I'm allowing myself to let it go. I love and accept myself completely. I'm allowing myself to release this shame and step into my power. I love myself and I am good enough. I am allowing myself to release this shame. I'm releasing the shame. I totally and completely love and accept myself. Now we're going to go back above the eye. Back above the eye. I release my shame. Bye, shame. I love you. I thank you. Side of the eye. I thank you for protecting me. I don't need this anymore, but I thank you for protecting me when I did need it. Okay. Here we go. Under the eye. Now, under the nose. I am worthy. I am lovable. I am good enough. Now the chin. I feel so loved right now, and I love myself completely. Then over here at the clavicle, I step into my power and I acknowledge that I love myself. Underarm, I'm good enough, I'm worthy, I'm valuable, and I'm lovable. And now the top of the head. I totally and completely release any shame. I take my power back, I love myself, and I'm moving forward in love. Awesome. So see how you feel. You may have an emotional release. You may also get physical responses like needing to yawn or feeling like a little bit of anxiety. You can also, and I forgot to do this, so I do apologize, but before you do the tapping, if you use this again, take note of how you feel before you tap. So you can kind of gauge, okay, well, this is where I am right now. Let's see how I feel afterwards, all right? So highly suggest that you do that a couple times a week, maybe every 2 or 3 days. Just set aside 10 or 15 minutes just to do some tapping, because if you have really deep-seated shame, it's going to take a couple of different tapping sessions. And again, tapping is really useful. I keep going out of frame. You can use it in so many different circumstances. So, all right, let's get ready for the last shame reducing activity. This is the inner child meditation. And this is one of my absolute favorite meditations to do. So I'm going to channel this meditation. I don't have a script today, but it's going to be about 10 minutes. And I'm basically just going to kind of walk you through connecting with your inner child through a visualization. And I want to say a few things before I start. First, if you can't imagine yourself as a child, don't stress, okay? If you can't imagine yourself as a child, just imagine the silhouette of a child, okay? The other thing is, if you hear outside noises, again, don't stress, because I always say that's just the music of Earth, right? All the outside noises, that's just the music of Earth. And if you can't shut your brain down completely, that's normal. The goal of meditation is not to stop thinking. The goal of meditation is to not get attached to the thought. So what I mean by that is, if you're standing on a platform waiting for a specific train to pick you up because you're riding the subway, you are not going to get on any other train because it's going to take you somewhere you don't want to go. The same thing with meditation. You want to try to let your thoughts just kind of pass through without making it form another thought, all right? So great. Now you can get comfortable. You can sit or lie down for this, whatever is best for you. And I don't know if you'll be able to hear my music, but I am going to put it on. And then we will go ahead and do this. So you'll want to close your eyes and be comfortable and know that you're safe in this moment. Hold on, we gotta add. So, okay. You may not be able to hear that music great, but that's okay. So go ahead and just relax. I know that might be hard for you, so I'm going to help you do it a little bit. Go ahead, close your eyes and recognize that right now you are totally and completely safe. You're safe in this moment. This is your time to just relax. And what I'm going to have you do is take some ocean breaths. So we're going to breathe in and we're going to hold for 3. When you breathe in, you can imagine this beautiful light coming in and filling every cell in your body. And then just hold. And as you breathe out, noticing yourself releasing anything that is not serving you right now. Breathing in that beautiful light, holding for 3 seconds, and breathing out, releasing any connections, cords, negative energies, allowing that to be transmuted by the universe, by source, into love. Couple more breaths like this. No pressure if you're not breathing exactly with me. It's okay. Just allow yourself to be supported by whatever's beneath you. Maybe your couch, your chair, the floor. You are deeply held in this moment and totally safe. Totally safe. So now I'm going to walk you through a visualization, just a quick visualization. It's okay if you can't visualize everything exactly. Just listen to my voice. I want you to imagine yourself on a path, a dirt path in the forest. This luscious forest with beautiful flowers and huge trees. You are just taking in the beauty of this space. Maybe you see a couple of squirrels frolicking around, and a rabbit jumps by as you carelessly wander through this path, noticing the butterflies that are flying, the scent coming from the flowers. And you are just feeling so incredibly safe and blissful. This is a special place for you. And as you continue to walk down the path, maybe brushing some tall grass or stopping to admire some flowers, you come out to an opening and you see a pristine lake, just a beautiful lake. It's a gorgeous day. You can feel the warmth of the sun perfectly on your skin. And as you step out onto the sand that surrounds the lake, you begin to notice the beauty surrounding you, the serenity, and the absolute peace that you feel in this moment. And as you gaze off into the water, you hear the sound of a child giggling. This child is whatever age you choose, so you look over and you can see them in the distance. Notice how they're responding to you in this moment. Maybe they're running joyfully towards you. Or they might feel a little scared. They may have their back to you, or they may be looking at you with a childlike wonder. Just make the space to notice them however they are in this moment, because it's okay. And as you walk closer towards the child, you can ask, is it okay if I hug you? Because you notice that that child is you. And maybe your child doesn't want a hug, and it's okay to say, that's okay, I still love you. I love you so much. Or maybe your child wants a giant hug and you give them a huge squeeze. And you sit down next to your child. Your little you, notice where they want to sit. If they want to crawl up into your lap, you can absolutely let them do that. Just making sure you're respecting each other's boundaries. So as you sit, maybe they let you gently take their hand. You can think these following statements in your mind's eye, or you can repeat after me and say them out loud as you imagine yourself speaking to your inner child, your little you, with love and compassion. I love you so much. I'm so proud of you. You deserve the best, and I am going to do the best for you. I'm in charge now. You are completely safe with me. I have always loved you. I'm sorry if you felt scared or hurt when I was you. I'm sorry if they hurt us or made us feel like we weren't good enough. We can do big things together. You are so precious and beautiful. I love you with all of my heart, and I'm here now to keep you safe. I will never leave you. I am always here, and I'm ready to listen to you now. And just take a minute or two to admire each other. And now maybe if you feel called, you can tell them, I have to go now, but I'm going to start listening to you and playing with you and just loving you every day now. So I'm not leaving forever. I just have to leave the visualization in a minute. But you're still with me and you're going to stay with me. And you can give them a big hug if they would like it. And again, if you want to give them a kiss on the cheek, tell them how much you love them. And you say goodbye. And you can begin, maybe gaze at the lake one more time and just feel this moment, whether it's a moment of release, a moment of love, bliss, safety. You are safe right now. And you can turn around and begin walking back up the path. Back up the path until you get back to where we started. Taking those 3 breaths. We're going to do 3 ocean breaths and then come back. So breathing in, if you can, light, love, and peace. Holding and breathing out any more shame, attachment, negative beliefs, anything that doesn't serve you. In again, holding for 3, and out, releasing, and then finally one more time. You can now wiggle your fingers and toes. You're going to come back to the room. It's normal for you to feel emotional after this if you have not done this before. So make sure that you're doing any self-soothing techniques that you need to do, whether that be cuddling up with a blanket, letting yourself cry. You can talk to your inner child at any moment and remind them that it's okay, that you're safe and you've got them because you do have them. And I want to thank you. If you watched this, I hope it helped you. I hope you loved it. And again, my name's Emily. My website's beluminousU.com. And I just love helping people rediscover joy, heal their trauma, and really begin living their most fulfilled life. So thank you. I love you.